It took me literal years to figure out my personal style. But if somebody had just told me these 6 don'ts, I get the feeling I would have got there a lot faster. So let's do you a favor by covering off on the 6 don'ts of personal style. Personal style is a reflection of you and various things that you like. And as we are all unique individuals, if you allow yourself the time, you will start to understand what it is that you actually like about your inspiration looks, and you'll start to combine the various elements of these looks that you like together in a way that then reflects you and who you are. That's quite a challenging thing to do. You wouldn't expect to sit down and draw a still life that's completely accurate straight up. It takes years of practice to actually learn that skill. And what is personal style after all? It's just a skill. Most fashion advice will suggest that you look to inspiration looks and you try to emulate these looks and outfits that you really like. And while I think that's good advice, chances are you will not nail the essence of your inspiration looks or what makes you look your best right off the bat. To give you an example from my own life, what really kicked off my style journey was seeing The Devil Wears Prada when I was 13. These were the most stylish people I'd ever seen, and I just wanted to emulate everything about them. I really liked the sophistication and the glamour. I just wanted all of that. My 13-year-old mind said, okay, what was in that movie? Brands. Brands were in that movie. That must be why it was so glamorous. So I started looking on eBay and I found this silver Tiffany dog tag and got this necklace very cheap. 13-year-old me thought I was bargain hunter of the century. It was a good enough knockoff that I couldn't tell. And I paired it with some gear from Supre, as you did when you were 13 living in Australia. And it was like a Tiffany blue tank top with a short white skirt, like a Tiffany box, and I'd wear my Tiffany necklace. And I just thought that I'd walk straight out of The Devil Wears Prada. After wearing that around for a little while, I went back and I rewatched the movie when it came out on DVD and I thought, I've missed the mark here. So referring back to my inspiration and thinking again about what am I actually trying to take from this look actually really helped me better emulate it. I was not nearly as glamorous, but I did what I could with what I had. You're going to have to learn the various elements of what you like in a gradual order. Maybe first you start with colors, and maybe you move on to silhouettes. Or maybe you just start by looking through outfits that you really like and just asking yourself what it is that you like about them. And maybe over time, you'll start to be able to pinpoint more what you actually like from an outfit, and that will then help you understand how to incorporate that into your personal style and what that actually says about you, so why you actually want to incorporate it. Don't think that because something's on your Pinterest board or because you really like something, that means that you have to incorporate it into your personal style. You also need to consider, is this something that you just like in this particular isolated incident? Maybe in this particular trend, or on this particular person, or in this particular photo. It may just be that you like it in this particular media, and when you go to incorporate that into your personal style, it just doesn't feel right. It's just not practical. It doesn't work with any of your other clothes, your body shape, your color palette, your lifestyle, or is not really sustainable for you in the long term. There are many different styles that I really adore and think are super interesting or really fun, but that realistically just don't really fit in with my lifestyle or my space or my budget. So for instance, I really love old world glamour 1930s style clothes. 1930s dresses have gone up in price over the last 4 or so years. They're very difficult to find in wearable condition, and it's nerve-wracking to wear items like that because you don't want them to get wrecked. If I have an item, I will wear it all the time. Those older items are no longer really able to live up to that amount of wear, and it's very hard to find knockoffs, good knockoffs that are modern. It just doesn't happen. I could make them myself, but I just do not have the patience or the time to sew. While I love that style, emulating it and owning it probably isn't really within my budget or within my lifestyle. Oh well. So what you want to do is consider whether the look is reasonably achievable within your budget, your body shape, your color palette, and your lifestyle, as well as the context of what you've liked in the past. Understand what you've liked over a long period of time and what it is that you like about the styles that you like, so that when new things do come along, you can understand whether this style, the aesthetic, this inspiration can actually work for you by breaking it down to its various essences and elements and thinking, do any of these actually correlate with what I currently like, with the colors, the styles, the various vibes that you're going for with your current style? do any of the elements from this new style actually fit in with that and fit in with what I've liked over a long period of time? Because that's a pretty good indicator that, yeah, actually, maybe I could incorporate some of this style into my personal style. Sort of similar to thinking that you need to emulate something because you like it. Simply going for a style because you like the look of it without considering anything else except the aesthetics is actually most likely going to prevent you from wearing that style. Even if you can afford it and you've got the space for it, perhaps your lifestyle will interfere with you wearing that particular style. Maybe the outfits require a lot of layering, but through the day, you're up and down a lot and your clothes are shifting around and things are becoming untucked. Really, it just becomes an infuriating experience. Maybe this might seem obvious to some people, but I have fallen into this trap of liking the way that something looked, but then after purchasing it, I never actually wear it. I never actually dress in that style because it's just not practical for my lifestyle. This top, for example, I have to safety pin myself into this top. If I'm sitting down, fine. If I want to move around in a day, this top shifts around so much and gets so bunchy because it needs to be ironed basically like every time you wear it. It's just a pain. I don't wear it very often, but I do love it. You can still incorporate things based purely on aesthetics, but chances are you probably won't wear them and they'll just languish in the back of your wardrobe, just taking up space. So again, consider what's achievable within your lifestyle, your budget, and your space constraints, as well as what you actually need right now. What do you need from your personal style? You need to consider all aspects of a style. What does it actually mean when I'm wearing that? What's that going to feel like? Is that going to interfere with what I do in a day? Is that going to interfere with my budget? And then actually considering, does that really work with my life? Our life changes, tastes change, our clothes are going to change. Don't think that you'll find this perfect personal style and then you can just hang on to that forever. And also, don't hang on to a personal style that doesn't suit you anymore. Don't hang on to items that don't suit you anymore. Don't hang on to colors that don't suit you anymore. And by don't suit you, I don't just mean physically. I mean you don't really feel a connection to them anymore. Because that can stop you from moving forwards. And that can stop you from exploring new things, and it can stop you from finding a personal style that actually suits where you are in your life right now and who you are right now. You want your style to evolve, trust me. For example, before I started my corporate job a couple of years ago, I didn't really like the sleek, modern look. I just thought it was a bit bland. But then I won my corporate job and I thought, I'm gonna have to dress for work. So I went for that kind of sleek, modern, corporate kind of style, and I still had elements that have always been present in my wardrobe. Certain fabrics, some silks, there was some sort of vintagey silhouettes in there like cigarette pants, round-toed shoes, but there was that corporate modern take on those things. And that's what my wardrobe was for a while, and I dressed like that because I felt like I was that person, a successful businesswoman. Now, I very quickly started to de-identify from the corporate world when I started to have ethical concerns about what we were doing. The more I learned, the more I grew to completely detest that world, and the more I realized that I don't really feel comfortable in participating with this, I completely disengaged. And in that process of disengaging from that corporate identity, I stopped dressing in that sleek modern style and I started opting for more dresses, for more flowy silhouettes, and lots of accessories, and for things that were a lot more feminine, because you know there's always that suppression of femininity in the workplace if you look at work clothes, and I just wanted to break out of that corporate shell. How do you know if your style is worth changing? If something speaks to your aesthetic past but also says something about where you are in your life right now and who you want to be, there's a good chance that that's a style you want to move towards. You can very much evolve your style, and you will evolve your style as your life changes and as you want to identify with different elements of yourself, or need to play up different elements of yourself to step into a certain role. We do very much use our personal style as a uniform to fulfill various roles that we need to in our lives, so it makes sense that our style changes as those roles change. Many people think stylish people have big wardrobes, and that's not necessarily the case. It can be true if somebody really, really loves clothes. They're probably going to have a big wardrobe, but you don't need a big wardrobe to express yourself and to have a personal style. In fact, if you do have a big wardrobe, there's a good chance that it's getting in the way of you fully understanding your personal style because there's a lot of noise in there. There's either clothes that you feel a bit lukewarm on and you're seeing them every day and they're kind of skewing your perception of your wardrobe. And there's also just so much choice and so much stuff that it can be overwhelming. So you don't really get to wear a lot of your clothes because you just kind of think, oh my God, whenever you open your wardrobe and you just go for what you usually go for rather than building outfits out of the pieces that you have. The better acquainted you are with your personal style, the less clothes you need because you know exactly what you need to put together the outfits that you want to put together and to emulate the aesthetics that you want to emulate. So I currently have about 3 times the amount of clothes that I actually have in my wardrobe. So my wardrobe is about 1/3 of my clothes. And each season I change those clothes. And because I'm lucky enough to have the space, I store the rest of my clothes. So it keeps things interesting and I can express a different aspect of my personal style each season. I don't get tired of my clothes. It also means that I don't have to buy a lot of new clothes because I'm not seeing all of my clothes all the time. And it makes putting together outfits very, very easy because I've already got an edit. I've already got clothes that pretty much all go together. So if anything, having a sense of your personal style is going to make your wardrobe smaller. If you're finding that you've got a lot of things and you're not really sure what you actually do like and what actually is your style and what is maybe something that's outdated in terms of your style or maybe something that you bought on a whim and is just kind of sitting there and you're not really sure that you like it, just edit down your wardrobe. You can always store clothes if you're not sure that you want to get rid of them. And I would recommend being more on the conservative side of getting rid of things, which is a really good way to avoid always buying new items. People think that to find your personal style, you need to just try a whole bunch of styles, which means buying a lot of things and you can just buy them cheap and then it doesn't matter because you didn't spend that much money. What that's really going to do is create a mess in your wardrobe. It's going to create a mess of your finances because over time, those purchases really do add up. It's just going to slow down the process of finding your personal style because you're getting devoted all the time. Yes, finding your own style does take trial and error. That doesn't mean that you actually have to purchase things. And first, make sure that you've actually edited your wardrobe and you know what you like from your wardrobe because you've already got those pieces. And this is something that I talk about in another video, but I will cover again here so that you don't have to watch the whole video. First off, you want to understand what your color palette is. Go to a hardware store and pick up those color cards and just hold them up against your face and see whether those work for you. Then what you do is go shopping, but don't buy things, which is going to sound weird. Go to a department store and you just try on different styles. Just see what you like. So try on for every single style that you can possibly find, try them on. Try on good quality clothes because the lower quality clothes are usually made with thinner fabrics that don't sit as nicely and oftentimes the cuts are not as precise, so they can sit quite weird on you. It may do absolutely nothing for you and then you mistakenly go, that's not a style for me, when actually it could look fantastic if you just tried the higher quality version. Also, trying on clothes in many different kinds of fabrics can be very useful as well. You probably want to stick with natural fibers, so like cottons, linens, wools, silks, and staying away from things like polyester and rayon and, you know, all those plastic man-made fabrics. You can always look up a list online of what they are. So if you go to a department store and you try on those styles, great. Understand that you're going to be trying on modern versions of those styles. Oftentimes, older versions of styles can also be interesting. Going to op shops and trying to find good quality clothes in op shops and trying on different styles can also be useful. So those are the 6 don'ts of finding your personal style. I hope you found them helpful. I'm sure that I've missed some don'ts. So if you can think of any extras to add to the list, I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts in the comments. As always, I wish you all the very best in dress. Goodbye.